The squad, as far as Team India are concerned, for the 2023 edition of the World Cup was eagerly awaited, and finally it is out now. We here at Sports Today have been telling you and building up, to the squad announcement for a couple of days now, and it in fact turned out to be exactly the squad that we here at Sports Today had told you. But the one thing, and this is the reason why we say that for this one reason there is a point of differentiation, that this particular squad of the 2023 World Cup is different from some of the previous squad announcements that we've seen in Indian cricket. Why do we say that here at the moment is because there weren't any surprise picks on the day. We had told you about the squad a couple of days back also. Turned out to be exactly that squad. But what we've seen over the years happen in Indian cricket is, and especially for mega tournaments like the World Cup, we've seen some surprise picks happen and they've taken everyone by surprise. They caused a lot of debate and uproar as well, but this time around nothing of that sort happened and you had just the squad that you had in mind. But what we're going to do in the next couple of minutes is take you back in time, tell you about those couple of surprise picks that have happened in recent memory, and also try and tell you what was the story behind that. So stick along with us as we tell you some of the surprise picks that have happened in Indian cricket in recent times. 2011 World Cup, everyone remembers the World Cup very well. The nation won it and the players themselves say that they'd won it for that man, Sachin Tendulkar. But alongside him you see a certain Piyush Chawla as well, who by the way until the 2011 World Cup hadn't played an ODI match for good 2.5 to 3 years. He was a surprise pick and he was definitely one of those players who was paratrooped into that 2011 squad. In fact, he had played just the one ODI. He hadn't played any ODI cricket for a good couple of years, but there was a series that was happening against South Africa. He had played the final ODI of that particular series, and just the 3 matches he played in the 2011 edition of the World Cup. In fact, his last ODI game also happened during the 2011 World Cup. So he was, paratrooped into this side because the chief selector back then, which was Chris Shrikant, felt that perhaps his inclusion would help Team India because the playing conditions in India would suit spinners. So him along with Harbhajan Singh were there in the 2011 squad. There was a Ravichandran Ashwin as well, remember, but back then the team management thought that Piyush Chawla could indeed be that X factor. Many also say that he was picked ahead of Rohit Sharma, who wasn't there in the 2011 World Cup. So Piyush Chawla came in as a big surprise. Just think about it that way, that you're in 2023 right now. If today on selection day, if there was a player that was named in the side who hadn't played any ODI cricket for about 2.5 years, or maybe just one, because like I said, Piyush did play that one ODI just ahead of the World Cup against South Africa, would you have been then okay with it? Imagine the kind of debate it would have caused back then, and many weren't quite happy with the management back then, but it is believed that this is exactly what the team wanted back in the day. So that is 2011, the surprise pick being Piyush Chawla. Let's tell you more about surprise picks 2019, and those of you who've been following Indian cricket recently would know an awful lot about the uproar and all the buzz that was created when Vijay Shankar, the 3-dimensional Vijay Shankar, was named in the side ahead of an Ambati Rayudu, who had been India's number 4 for good 1 year in the build up to the World Cup. Just the one bad series that he had close to the heels of the announcement of the World Cup squad, and it turned out that it was Vijay Shankar who was preferred ahead of him. When back then MSK Prasad, the chief selector, was asked what the reason was, the reason that was given to us back then was that Vijay Shankar happens to be a 3-dimensional player, something that didn't go down well with the likes of an Ambati Rayudu, who was almost defiant after that, and he didn't particularly like how the BCCI had treated him and how he was discarded. In fact, everyone was taken by surprise by the fact that Vijay Shankar was picked ahead of an Ambati Rayudu. So he was the surprise selection or the surprise pick in the 2019 edition. In fact, his tournament was cut short. If you remember that well, his tournament was cut short because of an injury, and he could not complete the full tournament. And perhaps the biggest talking points emerged from the 2021 edition of the T20 World Cup, because not one, not two, but there were three surprise selections, or rather picks, that had made certain controversy as well. Two of whom, by the way, and that is Venkatesh Iyer and Varun Chakravarti, were included in the side basis of their performances in the IPL, which had taken place in the UAE and had concluded just a couple of months back. But there were several regulars who were sidelined and were not picked. So, and that in many ways was, it added to the chaos as far as the 2021 edition is concerned, and obviously not a lot of happy memories if you're an Indian cricket fan from the 2021 T20 World Cup. Hardik Pandya also was a surprise pick. Why, you would ask? Well, because Hardik Pandya had come back from a big injury layoff. He wasn't fit. In fact, he barely bowled in that tournament, which is why there was those questions that was that were asked as to why the management had included a half-cooked Hardik Pandya who wasn't even fit enough to bowl 4 overs. So that is why Hardik Pandya was also one of the surprise picks in the 2021 edition. In case there are some names that come to your mind as far as as far as surprise picks or surprise selections in recent memory, or let's say even in the past as well, if you're somebody who's followed Indian cricket and know the history that well, do let me know in the comment section. Always love to hear from you guys. But these were just some of the names that come to my mind as far as some of the surprise picks are concerned. And what a time to be live, in fact, guys, because as it turns out, I've been informed by my team that as we speak with you guys, as we are live, we've just managed to cross the 200k mark as well. What a journey it's been to be with you guys. So thank you so much. 200k subscribers really means a lot. It keeps us motivated, and it motivates us to deliver so much more for you guys. The Asia Cup is on. There is the Asian Games coming. There's the World Cup coming on. The Premier League's on. So much action. There is the US Open as well. Let's not forget. Thank you all so much for all the love that you've showered upon us. Do share our content with your friends and family members if you love what we do here at Sports Day. But for now, I'll take your leave, and as always, do subscribe to us. Keep showing us the love. It makes us indeed very happy and motivates us, as I said.